What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson from DieselCrew.com here. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. Today I'm going to talk about someone who was a pioneer in grip sport in the United States, was already involved in it when I found out about it in '02, and rose to become one of the best gripper closes in the United States. And then he you didn't hear much about him after that. His name is Tommy Heslop, and he left a recording at my SpeakPipe. If you would like to submit a question for the 31 Days of Q&A this year, then I encourage you to go to the link in the description box that is speakpipe.com/Jed Johnson. You'll find it. It's down there, and you can leave a recording. Now, the time limit is 90 seconds, and you can't do any more than that, so you might want to take some notes so you know that you cover everything you needed to. The other thing I want to tell you about is a free report that I have for pinching plates. It's the plate pinching hierarchy. And if you go in there to the comments section and put plates, I will send you the link so that you can download that free report. It's the plate pinch hierarchy, tells you all about plate pinching. And that was another thing. That was another thing that Tommy was real good at back in the day, was plate pinching. So let's go ahead and listen to his voice message, and we'll see what he's talking about.
Hey Jed, it's Tommy Heslop. What kind of advice would you give me and others for tendinitis, both arms, both sides, 21 years in pain, me in particular? What kind of exercises would you recommend? I've actually been doing 2 to 3 times a day with all 6 directions and working with light resistance and just getting 50, 100 reps in. And I'm actually seeing and feeling some results. What are your thoughts?
All right, so that was my friend Tommy Heslop, and I took some notes and left them outside of the camera screen. So I think we have just found out why, after about 2004, Tommy kind of disappeared from the grip scene. It's because he's been dealing with this issue in his elbows for over 20 years. And, you know, several years ago, I would have said, no, it's impossible to deal with something for that long. But honestly, after having this injury in my hand for what will be 6 years coming up in January, and basically nothing being effective at treating it, I definitely see where Tommy's coming from, having struggled with this for so long. So, where do we start? First off, elbow pain generally comes from some type of overuse. At least that is what I have the most experience working with myself personally, and with people who have come to me for help, such as clients. Now, you have to understand, guys, I am not a doctor, nor am I any kind of a physical therapist, but I have a great deal of experience with this because I have trained grip for 20 plus years, and I have talked to just about anybody that I possibly could about tennis elbow and elbow pain, and kind of got exposed to different viewpoints about this because of people's experience in the professions that they were in. So I speak to this as a person who's got a great deal of experience, not necessarily a specific medical background that would allow me to give advice. All right, so take everything with a grain of salt and do your own research and stuff like that. But this is what I would say. It's usually from overuse. My guess is that Tommy overdid it when he was a young man and created a situation in his arms where he was having trouble recovering. Now, why wouldn't he recover? Maybe it was because he was just working too hard, doing too much for too long. Maybe he wasn't doing enough of the soft work that you have to do when you're doing a lot of hard work in order to take care of your connective tissues and things like that. Maybe it was a dietary thing. Maybe he was missing something in his nutrition. I don't know if Tommy was ever like a vegan or vegetarian or if he avoided any specific foods. I really don't know, but it's a possibility that there was something that he was doing for a time that disallowed him to get the nutrients that he needed. It's just something that might be a possibility. I'm not insinuating that by any means. The other thing about it that I've seen is that it could be an upstream issue. So what I mean by this is the issue, the area where you're actually experiencing pain doesn't always necessarily have to be the place where there's an injury. It just could be where the pain is being presented. Okay. So I know that at times my biceps have gotten extremely tight and it's caused issues going down my arms. And then I would need to do foam rolling and stretching and all this stuff in order to loosen my biceps up, and then the pain would go away. It's been over the years. No specific time that I can point to. The other thing is you can get too tight up top in the chest, get all internally rotated, cause problems for your posture, and then that can cause other issues going downstream. So upstream is up like in the shoulder area, biceps. Downstream is down through your forearms and hands. So my question is there a possibility that at some point you got like an injury that's upstream, maybe something that was too tight, maybe a limitation in your mobility that causes you to have to overexert downstream? Like, for instance, if you're internally rotated like this because of a tight bicep, tight chest, tight lats, then it really becomes difficult for you to supinate. If you were to loosen up here and you could supinate better, maybe that would help down here, and you would experience less pain. That is the concept that I'm talking about. So you want to, be honest with yourself. Is it a bicep thing? Are your biceps too tight? Have you ever addressed bicep tightness? Has there ever been a postural issue? Do you slouch? Do you have scapular winging? Anything like that? These could all be things that could be contributing to this condition. And I think it's probably time to look at it from a broader sense, even like a mental thing. Like it could be a psychosomatic type thing where you went through a very stressful time period and you just never got over that. These kinds of things where I've read about where people have had these major issues in their life, and from that point on, they end up having an injury. But it's not actually an injury. It's something it's a trauma that you experienced in your life, and it's expressing itself in this pain. So then is it not physical therapy, but actually like some kind of mental therapy, like sitting down and talking with a therapist that would help you get through this? Tommy, I will say, picked up Fixing Elbow Pain, which is an ebook that I did with a guy named Rick Cassells back in 2012. I honestly can't think of a lot of people who came back to me and said that the ebook was not effective. Rick took care of the actual recovery portion. He is a licensed physical therapist, or whatever they call him in Canada. My side was on prevention. But frankly, when I have introduced the stuff that's in my prevention manual to people that I've worked with in a virtual coaching sense, it's helped them with their forearms the majority of the time. So there's something else going on, in my opinion, that it is not just an injury to this area. It seems like there's something else going on. Now, I was just at a strength conditioning conference last weekend. And for the second time now, I saw Dr. Ariane Missimer speak. And I'm wondering, so she has a website called movementparadigm.com. She definitely has a business called Movement Paradigm, and she's in Pennsylvania somewhere. She spoke about the vagus nerve, which is this nerve that runs throughout your body, and she was talking about vagus nerve resets and hacks and things like that, and how to use this to drive change in your body. I just wonder if it's time she is a doctor. She has some kind of a doctorate. I just wonder if it's time to get away from like the full on medical doctors, Tommy, and go to someone that approaches things at more in more of a movement sense. Maybe break you down and see what all is going on throughout your body, why this is not recovering, why it's not rehabbing. Someone out there ought to, I think it's someone out there ought to be able to do some kind of a root cause analysis to see what exactly is causing that, so that you're not constantly beating a dead horse and doing the wrong stuff. Now, you say that you're moving your forearms in all 6 directions. I mean, that's basically what the what my recovery manual talks about, but maybe you've stumbled on some kind of magic volume that's doing the trick, or one little change to a movement pattern that is addressing it how you need to. But I would have thought you'd have been able to find that a long time ago. So I just think that at this point, it's time to go a different route rather than like just your regular medical general practitioner, somebody that has experience with working with people and modifying like mechanical behavior and posture and these kinds of things in order to drive change in your elbow. So I wish you the best with it. I can't imagine 21 years of this. I sure as hell hope this doesn't last 21 years. It's already affected my performance tremendously in multiple contests. It's a constant liability for me, and I feel like I'm never going to reach the level of competition that I have reached in the past, because any two-hand lift I'm at a liability for. But I keep trying wherever I can, and I hope you do too. And I would still love to see you come back to Grip Sport. So good luck with it. Just a reminder, everybody, if you want that free report on plate pinching, the plate pinching hierarchy, put plates in the comments section. And if you're dealing with any kind of injuries, leave them in the comments section below. If you're dealing with elbow pain, you can check out the description box. There's a link there for my Fixing Elbow Pain product that I did with Rick Caselge. And if you have a question that you'd like to submit for the 31 days of Q&A, it's at my SpeakPipe link, which is also in the description box. Thanks for watching, everybody. All the best in your training. Take care.